We should be live.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome,
Hello.
Internet. I don't know who all is out there or who's actively monitoring the comment section, but we are live here for Peach Pit. I don't know if we need a validation that all systems are go. Thomas, I believe in you. We'll see if anybody comments in chat.
But say,
Well-
what word do I want to type and check? 'Cause that's always a thing, right?
Sorry if this is a little bumpy out of the gates. Our producer Ian tried sharing notes with Thomas before we got our show kicked off. Be here, but otherwise we can go ahead and get started and cross our fingers that everything is all good.
I think everything's working. The people in the chat say everything is working, so we are going to assume that everything is working.
Look at
I
that.
don't know if I, quite frankly, was eight. Never mind. If there's any dips in audio quality, I apologize. It seems to be an issue when I change where my focus is, so it shouldn't be too much. But
So
if there's a dip in quality, it's me queuing up another team.
okay, let's see. Focus
Okay.
on the screen in front of you then.
Okay.
All right. So if everything's all hunky dory, I'll go ahead and get our introduction in here.
Let's get going.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Peach Pit. This is our 2026 Reveal Night with the bonus toss-in content that we're scrubbing together last second here because we're our usual amounts of organized. But we'll be talking about some Dalton and North Charleston previews as well as talking about week 0 insights a little bit from what we saw there. But we're excited to have you back. But before we get started, we have the usual disclaimer that any views or opinions shared on the show are solely that of the individual contributor and do not reflect the views of Peach Pit, any FRC team, First, Georgia First, South Carolina First, or any of their affiliates and sponsors. So the idea behind the show is to serve as an FRC talk show that primarily focuses on the Peachtree District and First South Carolina. We're going to be talking about a variety of topics, so don't be surprised if you see us drop some hot takes. Ultimately, we're hoping to provide some entertaining and engaging discussions. With that, we'll do some host introductions. My name's Kellen Hill. I'm a mentor for 10482 The Buzzbots, as well as a Georgia First Planning Committee member for managing practice fields around the PCH district.
I am David Allred, First South Carolina Mentor Advisor, First South Carolina Planning Committee, and a variety of teams mentoring, including my original team, 4451.
Hi, I'm Thomas Priego. I'm the current strategy mentor for Team 1833, Team Bean.
Hi, I'm Brian Carlson. I'm electrical mentor with Team 6829 Ignite Robotics.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have everybody here. We'll have a little bit of host rotation throughout the season as we cover different events. And correct me if I'm wrong, David. I think South Carolina has weeks 1, 2, and then 6.
1, 2, 4, and 6. We have 3 events this year.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about that. I've certainly noticed the substantial increase in the team numbers y'all have gotten over there. So
yes.
Awesome to have 3 events this year and have a little bit more of an option for teams. PCH, as last season, will have weeks 1 through 5 with the week 6 district championship event. All right. So with the introductions out of the way, again, our talk a little bit here will be through week 0 events. So we'll get started there before moving on to our reveals for the 2026 season for the robots that have submitted, as well as then moving on to our preview content. So week 0 thoughts. What did everybody see?
Yellow everywhere.
I saw a lot of people get beached on the trench.
Yeah.
Well,
mainly.
Yeah, trench being one thing. On fuel is the other thing. I don't know if it was.
It was a
combo deal.
Not the trench. Well,
the
beached
bump.
on the bump going over the top,
yeah.
and surfing there and having problems.
I really enjoyed the crowd surfing aspect of it, of getting up on top of all the fuel, having a robot push you, and you just glide across the field on top of the field. That was a pretty fun visual. But a significant thing that teams are gonna have to plan around for. I saw some people reference kind of a assist strategy of intentionally going over together with a teammate. Of if you do get beached, that they're right there to help you, or that if a certain robot profiles are better at kind of staying low and scooping in, that it's a lot easier to follow in that instance instead of you know Dukes of Hazarding over on top on top of the fuel. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I saw some interesting things. I guess any initial notes or uh, what's hurting is a big deal. I think there were a lot of conversations early that like scooping up fuel out of the middle of the field and shooting it back to your home zone. But an equally, if not better, strategy seems to be kind of scraping the walls or scooping through large quantities of fuel for scooping those back to your home zone in combination with if you have the right robot for it to shoot back to your home zone or alliance zone, that you then hoard a little bit for whenever getting ready as possible for your alliance's time to shoot.
Yeah, I think effectively pushing a bunch of fuel through the trench, definitely easy to do.
Yeah, I was most interested in ball scatter and where the balls end up. Of course, looks like what I thought along the back wall or the line station wall, along those side walls. So be ready for your intakes to take a beating. Also, because of the 6-inch sponsor panel at the bottom of the driver station, it's a little harder to see the floor in front of you. So you might want to have a solution for that or somebody to monitor. Um, there's a bunch of extra human players hanging around, so you should be able to use those guys. And I look at the game right now as that's not a meta strategy. Chief Delphi's all a buzz about the meta, but it's just like grab ball, shoot ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is going to evolve quite a bit across the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's our strategy against this other alliance? That so much of that is, I think, autonomous strategy of knowing when they're getting to the middle of if you need to beat them there. But it's not so much a thing of like, oh, in the middle of the match we notice we're down. Instead of saying, I mean, you're already telling your drive team, shoot as much as possible, shoot as much as possible. That if you see you're down in the middle of the match, it's not like there's a gear you can really change to say, all right, score more than you were already trying to score. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategies teams try to pull out in those instances for some creative solutions there. But I think a lot of it is right that first second of the match of who's diving into the middle of the field, and then who has those autonomouses that are able to take a hit and still get back to their home zone for getting a volley off.
I think the biggest thing is teams need to be aware of what they're doing when they're not in an active zone. I think that's where events or matches are going to be won and lost. From the strategy reviews we've been having at Bean, the biggest thing that we noticed isn't a lot of teams tended to be equal when it came to their output on an active shift when they had balls. But what was really critical and the most important was what they were doing to prep for their own active shift or how they were playing defense in an inactive shift. Those tended to be the inactives. I think are going to be what's most critical in this game.
But yeah, and what I mean about the meta at this point, I don't think we've seen a lot of defense yet. Those guys are just driving and shooting mainly. There was a little bit of defense, obviously, but I don't think this is necessarily like a triple offense game.
Yeah.
It's going to get real crowded in the front court trying to shoot when you got 3 robots and possibly a defender in there.
Yeah, I think we've yet to see
Yeah,
the
we're not
real
really
impact
how
of
the game
defense in this game.
played. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like week one, you're basically play this like a cycling game. The teams get used to their bots and figure out strategy and how to play together. In elims that probably changed a little bit, but I think by week three you start seeing this game shifting a lot more, and it starts talking about doing passing and how do you control the fuel, because right now week one you might be able to outscore people. That's going to be harder and harder to do as time goes on.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the defense evolves. There's been the debate about the large volume shooters, fixed shooters versus the single stream turret shooters. And how defense will be effective against either one of those. I don't really know what effective defense is yet in my head, but what I do know is as the season gets on going, it's going to be a pretty violent game. Even though defense might not be effective, tighten those intakes down.
Yeah, I've seen some good kick testing and wall ramming so far, but certainly things you got to test out before week one. Especially if if you haven't tested it yet, make sure you're bringing a lot of spare intake axles. I know that's something we've been looking at for BuzzBots of protecting that static intake axle for what the kit bot incorporates. But yeah, I've always liked the features of if you're doing a over the bumper intake, that whenever it does run into something, that it can scrunch back for kind of absorbing some of that blow instead of just ramming things in at a high speed and more than likely bending. But yeah, other things I saw, it was really fun watching that set of playoff matches at week 0. The Alliance 1 against Alliance 2 was a hoot. It seemed like 68-23 was really carrying the bulk of the load for the one Alliance, where the Alliance 2, I think it was 1768 and 4909. They had a lot of fun on the strategy side, just for kind of hoarding back to their corners, and then when it was their time to shoot, they were both shooting from those back corners. That they'd release a volley, just back up, fill off of those staged fuel that they already had there, to then keep shooting those volleys. I think the number 1 Alliance got a little bit better at defense for eking some of those wins out, but fun to see how those strategies were working for them.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting thing for me to see over the course of the season. Like Neshoba was, it's a double wide shooter and mechanical advantage double wide shooter, and taking the back, shooting out the front. Where I've seen a lot of people intaking in the front and shooting over the intake. But you can't just sit in the corner like that. Well, you can sit in the corner and shoot, but now you've got your intake out front. Got to help you with the defender now.
Yeah.
Because the defensive, it's not just defenders, but how will the refs call that? So, defender comes, hits you, offensive bot just sitting there, damages inside the defender. How are they going to call that? They say initiating contact, but I've seen this go 100 ways.
Well, usually in the past, if you're moving in a direction, then you would intentionally move that direction, right? So even though somebody came in front of you and hit you,
that's not how it was called in 2022.
It's clear. If I'm stationary, I can't initiate.
Okay.
So if you're in a corner,
I think there has been deference too in the past of saying, all right, you're the offensive bot, you're trying to shoot, that unless we see an egregious effort to engage with the opponent robot in that instance, that we're going to be pretty lax on calling penalties. That said, I think like what you were saying earlier, David, is you have to build incredibly robust robots, because your intake is still free game for those defenders.
Oh,
yeah,
they're not getting penalties called on them, maybe, but they're still able to get into your intake as much as they want to without repercussion on the penalty side.
Yep.
But yeah, other things that were fun, I think, was the mix up of teams going under the trench versus over the bump, just for who was doing what, how many teams decided to go low and maybe have a smaller capacity. But it seems to be a nice flexibility to sweep under there, especially in that herding motion that you're kind of just able to swoop through. You can always get enough kind of a running start with the fuel to kind of stop once you get there and kind of keep them going. Yeah, there's, I think, some fun mechanics to it. Trying to think for some of the other fun parts. It seemed seemed like there wasn't a ton of engagement between robots during the match outside of robots that were very explicitly playing defense. Like out in the middle of the field, there didn't seem to be a ton of tangle. Because generally during that 25-second window, if you're on offense, you're in your home zone trying to shoot, whereas the rest of the other alliances then trying to scrape up as much fuel as they can off the floor, which is an interesting match flow dynamic, is because all the fuel that the other alliance is scoring is actively pouring out into the middle of the field. So it's a fun dynamic of, all right, does it make sense to go into their alliance zone trying to steal fuel and disrupt their shooting period, or do we just stay in the middle, scoop up, and feed towards our side so we can prepare for our offensive period? So
Yes.
I guess what I'm most curious for the
yes to both.
Yes.
yeah I'm rather curious for I'm encouraged by the
Yeah.
submissions we've gotten for the reveal night that we'll get into here in just a few seconds, but just curious for the amount of teams that figure out, like, okay, I'm not very good at shooting, so who's going to make that pivot to be that defensive all-star, like the 75-38 of Peachtree last year, who had a deep climb on the robot but was otherwise just a swerve menace on defense and shutting teams down. So I'm curious to see what that looks like this upcoming season and what other teams wind up pulling out. But
All right.
all right.
If we're
Any other thoughts
ready,
before we kick off our reveal?
Well, are we doing
submissions?
reveals or are we doing previews?
reveal.
Oh, yeah, we're doing reveals.
First,
Reveals
and then
build.
reveals. Okay, reveals and
Yeah.
previews. Yeah. Okay.
all right. With that being said, here is Team 3344, the Space Dragons. So we should be able. I'm just making sure OBS sees it. Yep, we're good. All right, so this is Team 3344, the Space Dragons, building out of, one second, Fayetteville, Georgia, and Whitewater High School. They are going to the Columbus event and the Gainesville event in week 3 and week 5. Their robot is named, I had it right here, the Waffle House Destroyer.
I think we need to spend a little time on this whiteboard. I was looking at this, and I appreciate their team character. Yeah, I'll give them.
They have a concerning amount of stupids. And I will not discuss what is in the top left-hand corner.
They have train of the month, so I'd be interested in seeing what other trains have made that section of the board. They have items dropped, which is also if you look through the glare there, they've got quite a few tally marks there. We have quote of the month says, "Oh yeah, it's all coming together," and then
And
wrong lever.
Together.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they are building the straight up West Coast products. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it looks like the most minor variations for just added like the front panel. But yeah, from most everything else, it looks like the climbers on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like that competitive concept from West Coast Products that, to be honest, if most teams built this robot, I think the district would be a scary place, just because it's one of the most impressive like kitted bots we've seen so far. I think for the products that either Robot in 3 Days have kicked out, or the what Robot in 3 Days, Build Blitz, all those other what Rev comes out with it for their starter bot.
Mm-hmm.
That this is a scary robot if all the pieces come together. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this performs out on the field, knowing that it has some significant firepower.
It does. You improve that hopper floor just a bit, and that thing will be cooking.
Mm-hmm. Looks like they got space on there for a camera that has yet to get installed, but yeah, looking forward to this. I think this is if I remember correctly, they had a submission last year, so appreciate their tuning into the show and look forward to seeing your robot out there, 3344.
Yeah, good luck, guys. That looks like a great machine.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Up next, we have Team 4188. And they
Ooh.
do have a video for us to watch, and while it's playing, I will read off the fact sheet that they shared. Right. So this is Team 4188. They out of Columbus, Georgia. They're competing this year in Week 3 and Week 4 at the Columbus and Albany events in Georgia. Their robot this year is named Nemesis. The robot entails a double shooter, which allows Nemesis to shoot up to 2 balls simultaneously. They are able to load about 50 fuel at a time. They've designed a low rung climber. It doesn't have to deploy out, keeping it in the robot's frame perimeter. It is able to climb on all angles of the rungs, leaving most of the tower available for other members on their alliance. At a height of 22 inches, enables Nemesis to go under the trench. This season, our team is well prepared with our robot and time management. We are proud to say that Nemesis is a working robot that encompasses all the abilities needed to play the game, such as shooting, intaking, and climbing to L1. A keynote is that this robot is not our final product. We are still working on fine tuning, fixing issues, refining, and improving our bot.
Yeah, I appreciate that
So that
last
is
note. I think it's always nice to recognize that the robot's always kind of a work in progress. But if there was a good starting point, that looks like one. The
Can you,
dual lane shooter.
yeah, can you pause on the robot, full robot when it gets there?
yes.
You would please. Climber. Yeah, the old side climb. There.
That's another comment, I guess, out of week 0 is the amount of climbing robots. Wasn't not to say that week 0 events reflective of the greater first community, but it'll be interesting, very interesting to see what kind of impact climbing has in this game for the amount of robots that spend some time on it. So looks
Okay.
like we have our first L1 robot here.
Yes, and yeah, they're shooting over the intake. Yeah, double stream. It's Columbus. They're gonna bring it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, I think
here's another video of it fully assembled.
Okay.
Oh wow, that looks really nice.
Yeah, anything else of note for those week 0 events is if for robots that can go under the trench, and I think we've experienced this in 2020 for infinite recharge. No, that's not infinite recharge, right? What was
Yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah. It was
I got
infinite because they kept playing the same game. Yeah.
But the issue was going under the trench is that if there were game pieces under there, you could get kicked up on top of them and wedge yourself under the trench, which I did see, I think, a time or two at a week 0 event. So
I thought in this case, this year's event would be the stuff sticking out of the top of the hopper. And in 2020,
well, so it's a combination. I mean,
the
like
balls
you can be
couldn't push them.
yeah. But so I think the fortune this year is that the game piece is a bit more solid this year, that you're less likely to get up on top of them in that particular location. But I did see it, and you might be right, David, that it might have been things sticking up on top
It's
of the
the ones that
robot.
are sticking up high, and the balls are hard, and so you're now going to jam your robot from the top down instead of the bottom up. So
Yeah, and from experience, make sure you don't keep driving too long after that happens, because the FBAs will get after you about holes in the carpet.
yeah.
yes.
All right, good looking robot 4188.
Oh, absolutely.
If you give me just
When are they competing?
They're competing at week 3 and week 4
Ooh.
so they'll be competing at Columbus with team 3344, and then they'll be right up doing the next week at week 4 at Albany. So they're doing the 3-4 back to back.
Oh, I have that thing dialed in. Good. Cool.
Okay. Up next we have team 6829. All right.
This is a surprise, I think, to some of our hosts here. We have not seen this robot.
So
it's a work in progress.
Brian, do you want me to start with the shooting video, the still photo, or the intaking video?
We'll start with the still photo. So
Holy bot.
Yep. So we are a bump bot. So we have the extra capacity in our hopper. We have dual shooters in back in the corners, and there is a spot in the center for a level 1 climb. Is the, sort of what we have going on there.
And that would be between the two shooters?
Yes.
Okay.
And these are fixed, right? No turrets.
Correct. Fixed adjustable hood turret, or sorry, adjustable hooded shooter. So we're tuning in things right now and trying to get all ready for Dalton next weekend.
Looks good.
And then,
And taking,
yes,
okay. Oh, one of those rack outs.
yep. So we couldn't finish that run because we started browning out. It's like, whoops. and I'm like, I need to go back home and do the Peach Pit show. We're gonna stop here. I'll just show the first half.
What material is your hopper made out of curiosity?
Aluminum.
Really?
I hope it stays in one nice piece and you don't have to unbend it every match.
Oh, wow. That's aluminum. Ooh.
Yes.
That's a fun aesthetic for the hex pattern. That's really cool. But
Yes.
just-
The actual intake is all polycarbonate.
The intake part.
Yeah, the rack for the
The rack is polycarb,
yes.
but the hopper above the rack is aluminum.
Yes.
Okay.
If there's any, if you don't have anything else to add, Brian, we are ready to move on.
And you're competing at Dalton,
and Albany.
Dalton and Columbus.
On the TBA, it says Dalton and Albany, Brian.
You might need to rebook some hotels, Brian.
Boy.
How do you? That's concerning.
No, it
All
says
right.
Dalton Columbus. You might be looking at the wrong year, Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh, I've already moved on to the next team. That is
I'm like,
bad.
Made him sweat, yes.
I'm like,
He's got to focus on his production part. Give him a break.
so the instructions on all the sound, you're like, don't need to worry about that. And people where they're competing don't care about that either.
Minor details. Yes.
Yeah.
Minor.
Yeah.
I'm 1 second, getting it squared away. Okay. So up next is we have team 1002, the Circuit Runners.
Runners, yes.
And as we get started here, there's a fun note I think to make or just commentary that what we started with a 3-lane shooter, then a 2-lane shooter, then a 2-lane shooter, all fixed hoods so far, or not all fixed shooters, not turrets. We'll see what we have here for 1002.
Up next, in 1 second, all right. 1002 is proud to present our robot Entropy. It has a swerve drive base, brain pan, slap down intake, roller indexer, double channel shooter with adjustable hood, and can go over a bump, under trench, and can do an L1 climb. Here's just a quick video of their robot Entropy.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah.
Like another double-lane shooter. I saw noticed some comments in the chat that we had a unintentional copying going on here between 1002 and 4188. I don't know who to give credit for on who had the robot first, but it's cool to see that similar designs coming from different shops. But yeah, I like the amount of fuel coming out of that robot as quickly as it does for.
And the streams are nice and parallel, good arcs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that consistency is something that that's we got some more hexagon hopper panels. Those ones look like they are polycarbonate.
Is there like a honeycomb theme we missed? I thought this was archaeology theme, but anyway.
1002, I think you commented there. We did not get a climb video.
Is that
That's the video in its entirety. It does not appear that they have a climb video in their submission. Let me double check. Yes,
Yeah, I
that is the
didn't
only.
see when I was moving files around.
Yep. So that
But-
appears. All right, but they say they have it, so we'll trust them.
They got a-
Allegedly.
They got a bumper cut, but it looked like anyway. Okay.
All right, that is Team 1002, and they are competing, and they are the team that's competing at Dalton and Albany. All right.
All right. Yeah, good looking robot 1002. Looking forward to seeing it out on the field. All right, who's up next, Thomas?
Like
Drum roll, please.
seconds.
We want to say we appreciate Thomas here. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting on
did
the
that.
production
He
side.
did all the
Never doing this ever again.
Come on, Ian, our
Right.
emotional support human.
Hey, aren't we paying you enough to?
What double his pay?
2 times 0 is still 0.
Hey, what about all the donuts you've gotten out of this? And the shirts.
Up next, we have Team 8736, the
All right.
Mechanisms,
All right, finally a turret.
out of Marietta, Georgia. They are competing at Dalton once again and Albany. So they will be going with the circuit runners at all their events. They do have a special message for all teams going to their events. If I can click the right link. We also have a gift for every team in the pits at Dalton, Albany, and DCMP. A Bot Medic approved robot's first aid kit. So if you are fortunate, and are able to go and compete with 8736, you get to receive your own personal approved or Bot Medic approved robot first aid kit.
Do you have any information on this machine?
I'm double checking their submission right now. I do have a photo that I can
Yeah,
pin.
it looks like
If you give me,
is that a die rotor in there?
I believe
I
so.
believe. I think they gave a still shot as well, just for.
I'm pulling that up now, Kellen.
They do have illegal use of a human player, but we'll overlook that for now.
Randy, we all know you're really a robot. Don't.
Yeah,
This
go
is
on.
their
He's a friendly
still.
alliance partner, is what he is. He is.
It's a little dark. Is that a die rotor? Or is that a spin dexter?
It looks like he has scoops running through there.
Yeah.
So
Looks like a spin dexter.
It looks like, is that a spin dexter or a die rotor?
Let me check the.
I think it's die rotor for it sitting still in the middle. That it's just scooping through.
Okay.
Yeah. But I imagine this would just be missing hopper walls for.
Yeah.
But
And then there is their patch, and then this is this is the robot first aid kit that the Mechanisms will be passing out.
I don't see duct tape in that list.
I don't.
Where's the zip?
either. I think you have to. It's BYOZ, David.
Oh, okay. All right. Our kit we handed out a little bit more tape.
you'll have to go to the automation direct table for your zip ties. Yes. But yeah, from what the video you showed there, I think for the fuel that Randy was loading in, looked like a pretty consistent shot for the couple fuel going in.
Very consistent shot.
Always gets a lot more interesting when you start mushing 40 fuel through it in as minimal amount of time as possible. So combining accuracy and throughput is the big name of the game here. So
yes, throughput.
But yeah, encouraging start. Where are the Mechanisms playing at this year, Thomas?
They are playing again, so they will be good friends with Team 1002, and they are also competing at Dalton and Albany. Yes, that's the Mechanisms.
Not Columbus. Oh,
Not Columbus, Brian. I make one mistake.
so far.
They made a.
We have high
Mechanism made a
expectations.
turret shooter in
You're thinking 2022?
the 2022. They played the game. They went to Chesney Champ, right, and took
Mm-hmm.
a.
Yeah, that was a
Sorry,
killer opening performance by that.
Basically, it looks like they're kind of reliving that. So I'm expecting the mechanisms to come out firing. I'm serious. I mean, they
Yes.
had a really good machine that year. So it
Yeah,
looks
for the turret consistently trained on the middle.
yeah, they
Yeah,
are,
if they can replicate that performance to any degree, we got a serious robot there.
yes.
But yeah, the first turret on the board so far for the
All right,
submission so
turret
far.
1, double shooters 10, whatever it was, however many we're up to.
Up next, we have our second host team, Team 10482, the Buzzbots, building out of Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, go Buzzbots. All right, if you can go to the still picture first and then the video, I can talk through this a little bit, but either one works. So what you see here is a Kitbot Everybot inspired robot. We've got it on a swerve drive. In order to keep the intake as wide as possible, we've come up with these ridiculous frame perimeter. I think it's like 19 inches on the short side, and then if it's 35 inches or something like that on the long side. I think it's 19 and a half by 35, if I'm not mistaken. But
Wow.
trying to keep that Kitbot intake as wide as possible. It looks a lot better in person than I thought it was going to be in the CAD for any tipping hazard, but it looks pretty solid on that front. Just for it, I don't know if y'all have noticed this or not, but 21 or 22-inch robots are just so short. Everybody's got to be enjoying putting those in cars instead of these
Yeah.
super tall robots. But yeah, very proud of this robot. I've proud to say, and this has been a really fun build season in my book. I found the Buzzbots halfway through last build season, and I've had a lot of fun working with them. I think, for the entire build season after kickoff, we've had less than 20 hours of after school meetings in order to build this robot. That they've been incredibly efficient at getting things done during some class period time that the students have. That we've got. This is just this past week that we started shooting fuel. That we got our swerve modules in late for finally getting the chassis up and running. But this is our first time running swerve, so that's a learning curve there for the driver. But so what you can see here is that our hopper's taped up and it can only hold, I think, 10 or 12 fuel in this configuration. But the plan is for that hopper to drop out at the beginning of the match for that 12-inch extension and stay down. That we should be in a 35-ish ballpark, I think, for holding the amount of fuel that we will be able to. But that's the name of the game for this robot so far, is just fuel output as much as possible. It's that double wide shooter capacity that every bot has. Really enjoyed. I think we're gonna get a lot out of that conversion, just for simple fuel throughput compared to the original Kitbot. But otherwise, we're starting to work on auton pathing, and then we'll see if we can get some camera tracking on there for some auto aim feature. But
just
really proud of the students and team's effort this year, and looking forward to seeing it out on the field at Gwinnett and Gainesville.
Just for the other people out there, did y'all modify like what everybody did, modify the angle of the release, or is that the Kitbot release angle?
So this is the Everybot release angle. So this would be shooting back from the climber bar.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so it is the Everybot clamp. Okay.
Yeah, so in pretty much every other way than just the parts, that it's the majority of it's Everybot implementation, but that we just don't have a climber on it. We skipped that part. We had some importance of going under the trench given our silly frame perimeter and not wanting to minimize any risk of getting beached on the bump. So some unintentional, I think, consequences of our frame perimeter is that we might be a better sweeping robot than than others, just because our robot is so wide.
You might want to just attach a street sweeper on it.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll run our intake backwards and just kind of
have them out there.
So we could be a herding machine. But yeah, otherwise we're just shooting fuel as much as we can. It should be a fun season for the Buzzbots.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, or I think, yeah, these guys According to my notes, these guys are next. If I'm wrong, oh well. Up next is team. Let me make sure I have them queued up. Team 6919, the Commodores.
Ooh.
Just a note, the Commodores, we did get your video and it did have music. Unfortunately, due to the stream, we have to play it muted just for copyright reasons. But otherwise, here is Team 6919's robot. I do have a fact sheet about Team 6919.
We lost you there.
Thomas, we lost your audio. We can see you. We cannot hear you.
Okay, so short bot. Is that
Oh.
double wide shooter?
Yeah, it looks double wide.
Yep. Yep. Short bot, double wide shooter, intake, shooting over the intake. Well, a whole lot of those robots. It'll all come down to implementation. I like it looks like they got netting on it to keep the balls in. I've seen some videos where people have done netting and they've restricted it so it can't extend out the other side. But that way you can actually hold more than the height of your robot, and it also keeps from shooting. You can think about that without shooting out the top.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. This one looks interesting that there's not really. Yeah, they avoid needing a front wall to that hopper by having that net there, but it
Yeah.
also just redirects the fuel back to the rest of the hopper.
Right.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
they can still go under, and they could probably overfill and go over the bump with the netting. So that's a choice they can make, probably. I'm assuming.
And a side note, in that video, the blue bot is team 11214, the rookie team out of Bainbridge, the Cy Bearcats.
What?
So they're
Welcome to the club.
yes, and they will be competing at Dalton.
Well, Commodores, that looks like yet another good machine from the Commodores. Straight up
Yep.
effective. Any
Um,
Thomas,
well, Thomas is still working on some technical issues. We'll make any apologies. Let's see. Randy made a comment for saying the robot's name is Spinosaurus, 4-bar dual roller intake with carbon fiber and machined polycarbonate, Spinbexer, die rotor, photon vision, hooded turret, and an L1 climb. We did not see the climber
what?
on there. Sorry for not getting that in on the stream, for missing your notes.
That was for mechanisms.
Yeah, mechanisms.
Yeah, die rotor. Yeah, okay, that is a die rotor. It's a little blurry to see, but yeah, that's what I thought. Cool.
All right, I should be
Yeah,
back.
you are
Hey,
back.
there he is.
Yep, there you
All
are.
right.
Any other notes on the Commodore?
Yes.
Any other note on 1002 is that for in the comments is we'll try to we got your climbing video. We'll try to work it in.
If you
Oh
could.
yeah, work that in.
And a couple more notes in the Commodores. They are also competing at Dalton and Albany. And the notes that they included is it holds up to 40 to 45 pieces of fuel. It has dual independent shooters, a belt-driven floor indexing system, a polycarbonate roller, and 4-bar over-the-bumper intake. They're currently tuning RPMs, autoline, and shoot on the move. And then once again, I can't remember if I said it. They are competing week 1 at Dalton and week 4 at Albany.
Yeah, got to protect the home turf.
Do you have the 1002 climb video? We can do that
I put it
now.
in our Peach Pit channel. If you can grab it from there, otherwise I can put it somewhere else.
I have it. Okay. And this is, oops, wrong button. It is very hard to host and to. All right. And this is Team 1002's climb video.
I guess for the robots we've seen so far, for was 4188 and now 1002. It looks like they're climbing the exact same way too, for climbing off to one side and pulling up. Doesn't look like they leave the frame perimeter either, unless I'm mistaken.
No.
But that's how they're climbing is my preferred climbing technique, of kind of off to the side and not taking up too much of the climbing bar real estate for making sure other teams have access to climb.
Yeah, we were looking at trying to climb front, and then you had to extend outside to reach, and so we're going to do the same thing.
I like
think
the
there's going to be a lot
design.
of robots that do that.
Yeah, climb is not very valuable as season goes on, and giving up that little real estate on the robot, I can see that. It's when you start taking up a lot of real estate that it really starts impacting, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, as the season progresses, if big climbers come out, for that, because to catch up in that last 30-second interval, if you're behind coming out of, the all-time winners fourth, that fourth period or whatever, it could get spicy.
It's an odd dynamic too for the point trade-off. If you're looking at just points, that you're often just as able to shoot that many fuel in that amount of time. But it seems like the interesting thing as the season goes on will be how it'll impact the ranking point game. But that really requires that there's enough L1 climbers.
Yeah.
Especially if requiring that they climb in autonomous mode, if you should then be paired up with another L1 climber. But you don't see like L3 climbs getting added mid-season, because that's such a upheaval of just the amount of space required on a robot to add an L3 climb is. So I'm very interested to see what like top tier teams in the world wind up doing throughout the season, if they forego climbing out of the gates, of how many of them are planning to add a climber by Worlds because they know they're going to need it for the ranking game. But
yeah, I think you'll see it later in the season. You'll definitely see a bunch of those L1 sidebar climbs for
So
give you a chance.
Orbit revealed today, and they actually had that same sidebar climber on it, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, and sorry to get sidebarred from the reveals here, you're depending on the prevalency of other L1 climbs in your division. At which point it's just there
will be a bunch of them.
Right.
It all comes down to schedule, though. If you don't have another climber on your alliance, you're out a ranking point, and you lose your seeding as a result. So it all so much comes down to scheduling at World Champs, I think, on that climbing front to see who gets those RPs.
Yeah, so it won't be on Einstein; it'll just be during quals.
Yeah.
With that being said,
now let's move on.
Enough champs talk. We have another team, Team 1833, Team Bean.
Oh.
Now, yes.
Who are they?
Team Bean. I am proud to mentor. Our robot is named Clover. While we may look like a West Coast WCP bot copycat, the shooter is a ground-up rework to become a quad trench bot. We borrowed the hood and feeder geometry because we don't have the resources to adequately prototype a shooter feeder mech ourselves. That way, we knew our shooter would be able to make shots from up to redacted feet away with no dead zones in the feeder. It is one of the first robots with 4 shooters, and here is a video of it shooting.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we are super excited to be competing at Gainesville in week 2, or not Gainesville in week 2, Gwinnett in week 2, and Gainesville in week 5, and hopefully progress to DCMP. But we are super excited with how things are going.
I forgot that robot, can it shoot intake up against the hub?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that's what I was remembering.
So is that
they're double shooters?
double shooters.
double.
So Thomas, are you running one axle for all that, or is it how this coupled or not coupled?
All 4. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but all 4 are not mechanically linked, or all 4 are independently driven, so that it's one axle per lane.
Okay. Yep.
At least for the shooters. I believe for the feeder, I'm a strategy mentor, not necessarily a mechanical mentor, but I believe the feeders are one axle, but the shooters are four independently driven, and they're
Yeah.
not tied to each other in any way.
Yeah, same hood angle for independent motors. Yep, I see them.
Yes, and there's a couple of enough bean students in the chat that should be able to correct any and all mistakes that I'm currently making.
And I see 4 SDS brass flywheels on there. Nice.
Yes,
I love those things.
they are quite nice, and we're pretty happy with them right now. Alrighty.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it looks like a pretty killer robot. I'm looking
Really
I'm
does.
looking forward to seeing not only this robot, but all the other dual lane or triple lane shooters. What they're I think the biggest trade off in a lot of ways is for a turret you get shoot on the fly, but is seeing what efforts happen on those dual lane or triple lane or quadruple lane shooters to do any type of shoot on the fly. That's going to be fun to watch. Just for, like, yeah, the amount of, like what we were saying earlier for week 0, the amount of fuel in the air at any given point is going to be pretty phenomenal to watch. I think this game is going to be a lot of fun. But good robot 1833 looks like you got a good one.
Yes.
Also,
Okay,
treat your
up.
batteries nicely.
Yep. All right. Up next, we have a fun team, one of my favorite teams to reveal every year. Let me check to make sure I've gotten the correct script. The students submitted a script for this team, but I always double check with a certain special mentor to make sure everything is good. And how I've gotten the approval from Howard. So up next is team 1683,
Yes.
the Techno Titans. All right. So here they've submitted a couple still images of their robot.
Oh, baby. There we go.
Ooh.
Another
Alright, I'll
turbot.
leave it on
Yes.
this one.
Welcome to the turbots.
Yep. So team 1683 is oops, I mistyped. Team 1683 is competing this year at Gwinnett and Gainesville. So hopefully we will get to have some successful meetings together. But they have on their fact sheet, if I click the right thing, they have an SDS Mark V in swerve modules. They are featuring a turreted shooter, a double motor flywheel with back rollers for far shots, a linear intake with 1/2 inch or half-inch Lexan racks for robustness, compact L1 climb, and a 54 fuel capacity. They have a couple changes that they would like to do before Gwinnett. The red 3D prints you see on the robot will be blue or gray. A cable wrap will be neatened post practice and testing, which is like the biggest thing. I was about to say Techno Titans, not neat enough, get better. And they will,
And they got intake out of one side and tether out of the
yeah,
other side.
Get that
Ooh.
camera under control. Okay. Go
yeah.
get it.
And they will have
Stop worrying.
new bumper decals. Again,
Ooh.
Techno, like your bumper decals, they're not looking good. I'm happy you're getting new ones.
Uh,
And minor changes to the intake and feeder. Does not appear that they submitted any videos. So as always, 10 or not 1002, Team 1683, you are behind, not good enough. Start over, keep going.
Yes.
I say this every year, not necessarily start over, but remember, as I said in 2023, or I don't know when, good is not good enough. You are behind. Keep going.
oh,
I don't.
that's a good shot of the climber. Hang on. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's an
So
interesting angle for it. Let's
they're going to reach out over their bumper and grab that sidebar in the front.
Is it?
Yes.
interesting.
They're going to go in that's what I was talking about, where we were trying to figure out how to climb on the front of the tower and grab the bar. So they're
Right.
going to. It looks like, unless they have notes, it looks like they're going to extend out, grab the bar, and pull down and lift off the floor against the vertical
Right.
face of the vertical face of the tower.
And so those the side of the climb bots will definitely interfere with each other if they try climbing on the same side.
They're just get off the ground. It looks good. I like that.
Looks, in all seriousness, for those of you who don't know, 1002 and I have an ongoing tiff, shall we say. I very much appreciate their robots every year.
You said 1002. Do you mean 1683?
1683. I don't know, man.
Man, you're going
You've
back
now
in the
started
street.
a new tiff.
I don't know.
Are they competing in Michigan too?
Yes, they are.
What?
No, they are competing in Gwinnett and Gainesville, and they are from Johns Creek, Georgia. Team 1683, the Techno Titans.
Another nifty robot.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yes.
I like that one.
With that being said,
Cable management under control, guys, and you're rocking.
Yeah. I like turrets. They give a lot of flexibility.
This is our second turret robot, right? For 8736
Two
and now
turret
1683.
robots, mechanisms, and techno.
Yeah, good looking robot.
And are we to our finale?
yes, one more
Yeah.
robot left. If I can get things situated.
Yeah.
And by the way, we just do this real quick.
We got a disclaimer.
No, they are having a live stream party right now.
Okay. Hello, guys.
So up next, last and certainly not least,
No, it's not.
our favorite guest of the PCH district and now future guest of the South Carolina district. We have Team 9496 Link.
Yes. Bring
Yes.
them on, baby.
All
This
right.
is an impressive looking
cup-
bot.
What?
Yes. They are competing week 1 at the Charleston event. Week 3 and that's in South Carolina district. And then they will be going to returning to North Carolina at the Wake County event number 2 in week 3 and the Pembroke event at week 4 in North Carolina. A couple of things of their fact sheet. They weigh 111 pounds and they're doing another 27 by 27 bot with a top speed of 15 feet per second. They have an automated scoring of fuel, extendable hopper, 54 fuel capacity, a drum shooter, a full width intake, able to jump over bump and trench, LED states to alert driver with warnings and errors. Whew. 0 degrees of freedom, a swerve drivetrain, 1 vision camera, vision and odometry-based pose estimation, and multiple auton paths. That was a lot to read.
That is a lot to read.
Yeah.
Oh, and the robot's name is Matterhorn.
It needs to be renamed to
The kind.
Thor, God of Thunder. This thing's gonna rain fire from above.
Oh,
I couldn't. They're in a dark room. I couldn't get a good ball count because they were blurring so bad. If they're on there, if they could comment, it looked like about 15 balls a second is what I got, something like that.
Yeah, they are moving them.
Oh yeah.
It looked 15 plus balls a second is what I thought. I couldn't count them. There was too much motion blur.
And by the way, Thomas, there was a question back. What is beans ball per second?
Enough.
There you go.
Currently authorized to reveal that information.
All right.
And students in the chat, you guys are also not authorized to reveal said information.
Yeah, so I love the Link Flex with releasing it today at 2:54. A little shout out to their California friends.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I missed my alert. I didn't see it till about 10 after 3. So sorry about that. But
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I've been following their blog all season.
Yeah.
Looking at what they're doing. They're knocking it out very early with a lot less degrees of freedom. Simple and effective. Just get it done and shoot and cycle. So I'm expecting them to literally sweep the floor.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a scary looking robot.
Their balls per second are right around 15.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was trying to go. I was doing it frame by frame, and then the balls were blurring. I couldn't see if that was 1 or 2 balls.
Yeah. It's also been interesting to see how they evolved, right? Because we have a lot of like Bean and us, we have decoupled shooters, right? And they started out with decoupled, and now they just have one massive drum.
Yeah, and I think they simplified it to a drum shooter.
Mhm.
Maybe a little bit inspired by Mechanical Advantage. I'm not so sure, but it does I think it simplifies the stream going in. They don't have to split. They don't have to worry about that split stream in the middle. And
Yep.
I think they took out their divider, and it's just bam right through with the rollers, and then they have the feeder rollers on the side to kind of get it into a double wide stream. Just unleash the hounds.
Oh yeah.
So this is a balls per second game, and although Bean is very looking effective there,
Yeah, double the
but
amount,
but
double the
but
shooter width.
I'm saying you still got
It's
to
got
get
to be
him.
30 balls per second, right?
You still got to get him to the shooter.
All they have to do is 8 balls a second, and they can match them, right?
8 balls in each lane.
Well, they're
That would be
doing
32
15.
balls per second
Oh,
if we did 8 balls in each
Well,
lane,
I'm a. All right,
which
so
would
all
be
right,
crazy.
you only have to do half as much because you got twice the power, right?
well, yeah,
Sure.
right. So
Um,
as we've seen tonight in the
Twice the
reveal,
throughput.
right, the winner has been double stream, double wide singles, double wide stream, quad stream, triple stream, fixed shooters, bam, bam, bam. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm assuming that's going to be the majority of the architecture that we see this year with the turreted shooters in there. But I
I
thought
don't
there'd be more turreted, to be honest with you.
from what I've seen outside the district and what I've heard from a certain number of teams that aren't revealing tonight, it is my belief that actually there will probably be a more even mix than what
Mhm.
we saw here in the reveal night. Looking at like was mentioned earlier, Orbit did turret. I have suspicion that several other teams are going to go turret. So it looks like I think it's going to be an even mix.
I would like to share that we got I think they did this last year, if I'm not mistaken, but we got a late submission from 8866, a triple banner winner from last year. Thomas, it's in the Peach Pit chat if you want to pull that one up. They did I guess they did sneak into this reveal episode already. If you didn't notice in the background of 8736's video, there was an 8866 robot in the back there. But they have submitted an actual video of their robot that we can get pulled up here.
Yes, if you give me like 1 second.
And I think Brandon's watching out there on the West Coast. I'm interested to see what Jack and Bot does this year. Yeah, see what some of the top teams are doing and see how
There'll be a extremely tiny turret shooter that can still somehow hold 100 balls.
Well, I think this year they have to do something other than a telescoping arm, right?
Oh, don't. Hey, they probably have a telescopic
And
shooter
here
to come up.
is
It's
the
all about
video from team
It's gonna dunk.
8866.
Oh,
Team Innovation. They are also going week 1, week 4.
Okay, shoot out the front or shoot out the other side. Yeah. Okay.
I think in just this 3-second video, they are a turret.
Oh, that's a turret.
Let me
Okay. It's hard to
see
see.
if there was a fact
It's a single
sheet in there.
stream for sure, but
There's not a fact sheet in their submission.
They do
Yes,
have people
it
in the
appears
chat,
to
so
be
if
a
you
turret.
wanna,
Yeah, I mean, I can't with how well they did last year, and 3 blue banners out the gate. Them doing a single fixed shooter would shock me.
Yeah.
I will say
It
that they
appears
made some really simple decisions last year. In the robot that they chose, they made that choice on that robot because their driver could see through it and could do scoring post alignment without the need of vision. So they did most of their work last year without vision on the robot. So that would be
Yeah.
I think a bump from last year to this year. But what I'm encouraged by is always that simple strategic decision making to say, all right, we know our strengths, let's play to them. Um, and I'm hoping that pays off for him this year. I know that this game has a bit more complexity to it, knowing that either for like being actively trained on the goal at all times, that's going to require some vision. But again, if they're using that same strategic decision making that they put into effect last year, I'm
Yes.
That does. Must be
Yeah.
probably a spin extra under there.
Yeah, nice,
I believe
consistent
it's a
string.
die rotor from what they've been.
yeah,
The
it says
Are you sure?
Kellen, can you check the email
Lintake.
for a fact sheet?
It says Lintake die rotor variable hood shooter is our quick specs. I'll see. Otherwise, it's the just the video file.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
the shooter was in the corner. It's hard
variable hood shooter. Yeah.
variable.
But it might. So in that case, it's potentially not a turret.
Yeah, it didn't
Just
look
for
like
being
it.
listed as a variable hood shooter.
Okay.
So, but yeah, die rotor to fixed shooter. But this is something our team did in 2017 just because we bungled our turret design. We just statically mounted our turret hood or the top of our turret to use it as a fixed shooter until we got the turret figured out and then added the turret on. So that is always an improvement that can be added throughout the season. But even without, I think there's still a pretty high ceiling for the spot.
Oh yeah.
The cool thing
That's real
about
good.
Swerve is technically there are four turrets on their robot, so I think they'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their turret's just 27 square.
Yes. All right. Unfortunately, if you've put in any late submissions, I am now closing the window for any late submissions, and we will be moving on to our Dalton preview. As a couple things about Dalton, the defending champs were Team 6919, 2974, and Team 1030, 10376, with 2974 winning Impact and 6919 winning EI, with 10376. Those 5-digit names are really hard. Winning the Rookie All-Star Award.
We could have
And
saved some time just saying that the winning alliance won all three of those awards.
that is true. Okay. And we have a PSA from the Robo Jackets. The Robo Jackets team at Georgia Tech and will be tabling at Dalton and Gwinnett with the Robot Help Desk, Citrus Service style, to educate students and to help make sure teams have functional robots for their first competitions. We're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible so that they know we're offering this service. So if you could do us help of letting other teams know, people know who weren't potentially watching this live stream, let them know that the Robo Jackets team at Georgia Tech will be at both Dalton and Gwinnett with a robot help desk.
Yeah, that'll be an awesome service. Excited to see the Robo Jackets get some more engagement this year between their Robot in 3 days efforts and this engagement then with volunteering, I suppose, at Dalton and Gwinnett. So cool to see them putting in that effort, and look forward to seeing them there. Yeah. Anything else for Dalton? It'll be really fun to see any of the robots that we've had on Reveal Night here, in addition to some obviously other top tier robots. Outside of listing contenders and dark horses for this, I guess some other robots I'm really interested in seeing out there. 7451. I've heard some rumors about this robot being a unique one for something we've not yet seen on our stream here. We've got some other really good robots to look for 9480, 4026, 6023, 4112, Lambda 9477. Heard some good things out of that shop this season. But again, any other teams we've seen here tonight, then I think I may have skipped over just for teams we haven't talked about is obviously 2974. Seen some some chatter about that robot. Looking forward to seeing the product of their build season this upcoming weekend in Dalton. They're obviously one of our top tier contenders at this event as defending champs. But yeah, obviously 6919, 8866, 6829's on that list, 1002. The significant list of contenders. Seeing these robots we've listed out tonight, I think that event could go a number of different ways.
Yeah, being week one and some of the complexities of getting the high throughput, this is really going to be, did you really execute on your schedule and make your deadlines? Because you really, um, it's going to be a different game week one than week six, but there's still a lot of really good robots here that you have to come in strong.
That's what I've been telling the buzzbots for what we've been looking at, is that any robot that can come into a week one or week two event well practiced, of knowing the cycling times of, like, all right, here's our 25-second window, all right, we're off, here's our 25-second window. If you come in well practiced at using those windows and knowing how to use them instead of figuring out how to play the game during quals, you're going to see a pretty huge advantage compared to the rest of the field, even if you're playing against better robots that just don't know how to play the game early in the season. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing those teams that know what they're doing out of the gates, that are taking that advantage of knowing how to put that strategy into effect.
Yeah, it's definitely a time management game this year, right? You need to be aware of where you're at, and do you take 2 extra seconds to get fuel someplace and not get back and launch any of them, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the draft teams and draft coaches are prepared for this game.
Yeah.
You gotta optimize your time and go, oops, I'm missing my shooting cycle. So
Yeah.
draft coaches, watch week 0 a lot.
Yeah.
This is where we talked a little bit with Bean. I think it was after Gwinnett last season. They were having some bumps in the road on just consistency of match output, on how many either coral or algae they were moving during a match, for either removing or scoring. That it became such a bumpy thing just because they were changing up strategy every single match and trying to match up, like, all right, what's our alliance's best strategy here? But there was such a substantial bump from just saying, all right, what is our most repeatable and efficient scoring path? And say, all right, let's commit to this strategy as a wash, rinse, and repeat. This is what we're going to do every single match. That the driver knew what to expect and where they were going next, instead of having to listen to the coach in their ear telling them exactly where to score. Is having that consistency of a pattern that hopefully your teams start putting together at this point, of knowing, all right, let's push, feed, get a full hopper, come back, and just really try to get as used to that routine as possible as a drive team, without needing to communicate every single action every single time. That you're going to see a lot of benefit from that kind of.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about being predictable. I'd be consistent in your strategy to get your draft team trained early, and then you can flex a little bit later, but get into your rhythm of which is are you first period, second period, are you feeding, are you coming back early enough? Just get a rhythm. Don't worry about it. Just kind of tune everything else out.
Yep.
And then, David, with that
Yes.
being said, do you have any preview for the North Charleston
I
event?
got a lot. Okay, so last year's winner, or the winning alliance captain, was 2815, the Blue Devil Mechanics out of the Midlands area, and 4451 was their first pick, and the Wired Warriors 7085 was the last pick there, and we had to go to 3 matches to win that one. The Impact Award was won by 342, who's coming to this event this week, and Due West 8575 was Engineering Inspiration, and they are not coming to North Charleston. So probably going to be an interesting thing on the award side. Now, we are sporting teams from a total of 4 states: South Carolina, Georgia, Indiana, and North Carolina. So
Who's coming from
we're
Indiana?
pardon?
Who's coming from Indiana?
So we've got the 2 teams. There's 2 teams coming from Indiana. I think they're A and B teams. There's Hatchet Robotics 8116 and the Hatch Badge 8430. I saw a picture on Blue Alliance for the Hatch bots, and they are like a kit bot on a swerve drive with a modified intake over the bumper. So they're coming down from Indiana. That's always a tough district they compete in. They know a lot about each other, and very similar to South Carolina. So they'll be having to learn their way around. Of course, we're getting 1648 G3 Robotics out of Georgia. They are familiar with the South Carolina teams, and so I don't think they'll have any introduction problems. And then, of course, Link coming from North Carolina, playing in their warm-up event, coming down to South Carolina, and they're very familiar with the teams around here. So the other couple interesting facts is we got 5 rookies this time. Two of those rookies are B teams for a couple of teams in the lowlands, and so there'll be at least those 5 kit bots. And I'm expecting, plus the kit bot on the swerve drive, and I'm expecting at least 2 or 3 other kit bots. So let's say 8 out of the 28 kit bots. So it's going to be the kit bot competition. So I'm expecting, of course, let's go through contenders and whatnot. Based on what I've seen from South Carolina so far, I've seen some of the robots. Didn't give anything for the reveal night, but right now, of course, Link is the heavy favorite, going to mop up the competition. So it's really Link plus whoever they pick will win this event, is my prediction. I believe there are several contenders in the batch. Of course, G3 out of Georgia is one of those. Viper Drive. I believe they will be sporting a double wide shooter. Don't know what G3 is bringing. We've got 4451 there. That's be sporting something. We'll see when they finish the robot. And we've got, let's see. Phoenix will be there. Category 5 is always good in the lowlands, and I've seen a picture of the Pandamaniacs robot that's kind of a sort of a inspired, like you guys did. It's inspired by the Everybot, and we have the CB Bear bots who last year also built a version of the Everybot. So I'm expecting them to come out shooting.
Yeah, so 190 was originally signed up for this event, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they were signed up for week 2.
Oh, week 2, okay.
Right.
I think they dropped out though, right?
Well, right. Elliot, one of the mentors on 190, is from 2815 Blue Devil Mechanics, and he's part of the WPI lab team, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, that
he
would have
wanted
been a fun
to come
robot.
to a homecoming event, but they lost a lot of time too.
Yeah.
So what's the deal in South Carolina is, we lost some time to snow. My team lost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yay.
Yeah, we lost 2 weekends. That's rough.
We lost 2 weekends, and so playing week 1, we'll have something to go.
Yeah.
Sounds
Well, that
like
was
a
all part of
very-
our plan. You can't lose weekend time if you don't meet on weekend time. So.
Oh, oh, so you lost every weekend.
That said, I'm still super happy with the robot we have. I was looking with our previews out of the way. I was looking back at our donut shop bets from our kickoff reaction video, and boy, I think we were wrong.
Oh yeah, big time wrong.
I think we were talking big time about the amount of level 3 climbers in our districts. I think we got some really high numbers there. Not that our numbers were incredibly high to start with, but I'm curious to see how many we do see. I think we're talking about some rather enthusiastic early showings for 6 RP matches. Again,
How many L3 climbers did we say we're gonna have?
Well, I'll give South Carolina credit here. You said 3 and Josh said 2. Brian then had our low number for PCH at 6. I had 8 and Thomas had 15. We'll throw producer Ian under the bus here with
We
his
need to drug test Thomas.
guess of 76.
I haven't
this
seen any
is-
videos of an L3 yet in South Carolina or any rumors of an L3. So I think that we're gonna have to revise that number to 0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is where it's fun to look back at how foolish we were or how wrong we were off of those initial reactions. But yeah,
So about the climber, after our reveal show, I started doing some research on like what does it take to get a climb RP, and when you look at games where you need 2 climbing bots, in 2022 in district qualifiers in Georgia, it was about 24% of the time of opportunities in quals had the climb RP, but that was the year that basically the Thrifty Bot climb came out. That just really simple climb. When you go back to 2020, where you had to have 2 bots hanging with a simple climb, it was like 8%, right? So now we're talking about you need people to climb, 2 bots to climb, and you need somebody to do it in auton, which is going to be the really hard part because that sort of almost halves the number of the teams that can do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's interesting that the most the easiest access climbers to knock off would probably be the every bot climb, just for the amount of teams already building kit bots. Just say put that on your robot, but that doesn't really work for most everybody else. But that there's not all right, just throw this on your robot and you have an L1 climb. That there's no easy solution to it. It's always going to take up some space on your robot. But yeah, the dependence on another robot on your alliance to also do it instead of like last year. And this is where BuzzBots made a lot of money. Is just we do a deep climb and somebody else just needs to park and you get that ranking point. This year it's an entirely different ranking mechanic on that climb. But yeah, very curious to see if other teams can make some money off of that for having climbers, just to see what the climber prevalency looks like. But it was in our early plans for BuzzBots to look at it, but it's kind of fallen off on just the priority list. But
yeah, we were thinking about it. If we were going to be a tall robot, I'd think about an L3, but a short robot,
yeah.
I need to amend North Charleston. I kind of mentioned them in passing about the Impact Award, but 342, I have seen their robot. So they are a strong contender for this event this year, big time. So they've been, I think they won 3 finalists last year, something like that. So they're due. They're due. I'm sorry, I really forgot to tell you guys earlier.
With that, I'll ask, do y'all have any final thoughts?
Brian, parts requests. Make sure you get that in.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to week 1. I'm also looking forward to seeing how this game evolves, right? As people settle in on what they do well and how to maximize that. Because there's so many ways to play this. And so it'd be nice to get on the carpet next Friday at Dalton and have fun, right? So I just got a parts request from Team 8872, which are Team Special Ops. They've been around for several years, but they made it to the carpet first time last year at at Gainesville, and they're playing at Gwinnett. I'm going to try to see what I can do to cover a lot of these things, but they are needing help with like SP connectors for the batteries, CAN, and some other Anderson connectors and parts and stuff like that. So I'll see what we have here. But if you're on PCH Mentors, keep an eye out so we can see about getting them all taken care of so they can get on the carpet at Gwinnett.
Awesome. Always good to help other teams out. But Yeah, any of my thoughts? I'm looking forward, like these first couple weeks, it's really just going to be shaken out. Like, all right, how does this game get played? Where are we at in kind of the pecking order? What adjustments do we need to be making? I'm just looking forward to seeing what that out of the gates looks like for who comes in ready, who comes in with a robot that has a high ceiling, but they're not quite there yet, to see who's kind of has some room for advancement throughout the season. I think that's the thing I'm most looking forward to, for seeing robots out there.
Yep. I will give the same advice I give every year. Play the robot you have, not the robot you wanted. So don't focus. Just again, figure out your cycles, get your game going, and just play the game.
The big thing I have to add for the teams that are competing week 1 is, even if everything is burning to the ground, just take a please just try and take a moment, regardless of how well things are going, how poorly things are going. Take a step back and enjoy the fact that you get to compete in this great endeavor.
It's
It
gonna be
often,
it's gonna be a fun, noisy game.
yes.
And one last thing, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the parts quest. A couple of weeks back, we were missing some parts, and so called up, Techno Titans, and they had the parts. And it's great that we help each other when we go to the field. We're gonna do the same thing. I like to say thanks to Techno Titans for the parts that we got, because it saved us several days of build time by not having to wait for stuff.
Awesome. Good to hear of helping hands out there, which I know there are plenty. Yeah, looking forward to seeing teams out there. For PCH teams, make sure, and honestly, I guess goes for anybody, but if you're bringing your own fuel to the event, make sure they are well marked with your team numbers, because I think PCH FTAs at least have claimed that if you come to the field with one of those unmarked, it is staying at the field. So make sure you have your own fuel well marked. I know at least our practice fields in PCH, we won't have fuel for you to borrow. So make sure you come prepared for that. But
And all the FTAs out there, please do not park spare fuel in vision of cameras. Please.
Well, you remember 1771 with the rings, like move them off to the side.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. This will be a heavy vision processing game, so please have no distractions.
Well,
right.
I think with that, we'll end the show.
See
Goodbye.
y'all out there.
Next week.